Hey, what's up, guys? This is Martin here from Kodiak. Your favorite Giga Chad is here from Poland, coming to you from my car this time. And today, I want to talk about something which I don't think I've really talked about too much in the past. But I just want to expose this lie, because this is a big lie that a lot of you guys, men especially, believe in. And I see this pushed around quite a lot by female dating coaches who say that, you should pursue women and all that shit. And I've learned this lesson the hard way. Okay, I got my heart broken because of it, and I'm about to tell you this. Women do not make rules for guys they like. Mic drop. It's the realest thing you will ever hear. And to really give you guys this lesson, I want to tell you a little bit about myself and how I actually got to know this. I remember when I was 16, 15, I was 16 at the time probably. And I had this one crush at school. I mean, she was gorgeous. To me, she was at least a 9 or a 10. She was banging. I mean, she was working out. She had nice booty. I mean, she was 5'6", 5'7", but she was drop dead gorgeous. She was so hot. And, at the time, I was a pudgy, skinny, little weird teenager. I was a lot shorter than what I am now. I had a lot of acne. I didn't really have any style. I was kind of skinny fat. And I was average looking at back in the day. And I remember I was always looking at this chick in my French class. I used to stare at her. I used to have all types of imaginations of, me being with her all the time. Because that's how you are at that age, You're thinking about banging all the time. That's the only thing that's really occupying your mind. And I remember one day, I finally got the guts to actually approach her. And it was actually right after the bus stopped at a bus stop, right when we're about to go to class. And, I got to know her name. I'm not going to say her name because she might be watching this. And we started talking, and I got her contact information on Facebook. And I started messaging her nonstop, And, at some time, I finally, got the confidence. I was being bold enough. And I was like, hey, let me ask her out on a date. And she rejected me the first time. And then later, a couple of months later, I did the same thing, but nothing was working. She was still giving me bullshit excuses as to why she couldn't meet up with me. And then actually, funny enough, at the time, I was actually reading a dating book, and I just completely ignored the advice that was in that book. But looking back at it, as a grown man, all the advice that guy gave in that book was spot on. And he said that you should never chase girls. You should be mysterious. You shouldn't really show them too much attention. And he was spot on with that. And actually, at the time, I was just watching through some articles on the internet, and I found this one article, and it was called the Brad Pitt rule. Now you might go, what the hell is a Brad Pitt rule, Martin? Well, allow me to explain. The Brad Pitt rule basically implies that when a woman is really into you, she's going to drop everything and go for you. Because a lot of you guys, you're trying all these different strategies. You're trying to make the girl chase you. You're chasing the girl, actually. You're constantly looking for her validation. You want her attention. You want her to respond to you, right? You're like a little simp. I mean, I think most of us men have all had that little age of being a simp. We've all gone through that little period in our lives. Most men go through it, at least. If you're a heterosexual male, that is. And the guy was basically saying, imagine if Brad Pitt messaged your chick. Would she have all the type of excuses that she has with you? That she's too busy, she has too much work, that she hasn't really figured out her life enough, that she has all these plans, she has all these plans on the weekend with her girls, that she has training, whatever, she's going to her class. No. She would forget about all these things altogether if she was really into you. And I wasn't really thinking about it too much at the time, but as I've progressed and as I've developed myself as a man, I found out that this is the absolute truth. That's why when you guys see these podcasts, especially in the States, where we have a whole bunch of girls that are sitting in groups with these with the hosts, right, with the speakers or whatever. And all of them have all these rules that they want from men, especially Western women. He has to be 6 foot tall, needs to be this, and that, He needs to have a cinch witty, right? He needs to have this. But if the right guy comes around, she's going to completely forget about her rules. Straight up. And I don't know why this isn't really told in the dating space too much. Maybe it's because the dating coaches want to sell courses and programs and, webinars, whatever. I don't blame him if that's the thing. I'm sure they're helping a lot of men out there. It's just that they're not really telling you guys the truth. Yes, some women might want to test you if they like you, but at the end of the day, if somebody is really into you, they're not going to have all these rules. They're not going to have like a stack of rules that you have to meet before they actually like you. If it's money, it's conditional again. You see this all the time on podcasts. If he doesn't make $100,000 a year, if he doesn't make $200,000 a year, I don't want him. He's a broke loser. Or if he's not, 6 foot tall, I don't want him. He's a smurf. Or if he's doing this and that, he's working in a blue collar type of job, he's doing this and that, I don't want him. He's average. But if the right type of guy comes around, bro, she's going to eradicate everything all at once. And that's the lesson you should learn as early as you can. And that's why I preach and promote this message so much on my channel, that you should always improve yourself as a man in all areas of life. Your fitness, your social skills, your mentality, with your career, with your money, with being a totally capable, confident, complete man. The complete package, You're like a little cowboy. Yeehaw! Yes, that's who you should be. Ideally. Because then you're actually appealing to most of the women that are in the dating market. And I've learned this myself so many times. So many times, guys. They don't make rules for guys they like. So if you ever hear a woman says things like, oh, you need to make this kind of money to date me. Or if she says to you, oh, I don't really date broke guys, bro. No, she's just saying that to you. Because she does not want to fuck with your ass. That's why she's saying it. Because if the right guy comes around, even if he's broke, she's still going to sleep with him. So many times. I actually think that average guys, most of you who are watching this, especially like if you're like average in every single category, you're going to have the biggest problems. Because you're not at the top. You're not like in the top 10 percentile of men. But you're also not at the bottom, where you don't really have anything to lose. You're kind of like in that sweet spot. And this is where most men are actually having problems today. This is why this whole, passport bros is even a thing. And men are moving, outside of the United States, Canada, just to, find some chicks. But they come to realize that they're exactly the same way. Women are not so much different here. Like, I live in Poland, for instance, Eastern Europe. And yes, they're a lot more open to the idea of being committed and actually starting a family with you. But women are wired the same way. They're not so much different than what you think. Western women, Eastern European women, Asian women, black women, they're all the same, really. They all have the same mindset when it comes to guys. They're not so much different. So I don't really believe in this myth or this thing that a lot of people push, is that, you have to make her like you. Bro, if she's not liking you from the get-go, you're going to make it twice as hard for yourself. If she's not liking you, drop her. She's not worth your time. Find someone who is going to like you. Especially if you're a capable, dominant man. She should want you for you. And if she starts having all these weird, bitchy-ass excuses as to why she can't date you, or she's busy, she has this, she's tired, she's not really in the right mood, she's not really ready for a relationship with you. Every single time, like if you guys are ever talking to a chick on Instagram, Facebook, dating apps, whatever, and she's coming to you with all these excuses, always put at the end, with you. I'm not ready for a relationship. With you. I don't really date guys like this. With you. I don't really date guys. With you. Do you see this? This is a pattern that you will eventually notice if you're a single guy. But, you can't really do anything about it. Not everyone is going to like you. Some girls will like you, some girls won't. Like, I made this one video yesterday where I talked about the downsides of being an attractive man. There's a lot of downsides to being attractive, but people don't talk about it. People just think it's beauty privilege, but it's not really like that. There comes a lot of hate, a lot of envy, a lot of sneering, a lot of mean mugging, a lot of weird ass behavior from other men that you're not really going to experience as an average guy. And so you have to work on yourself. You have to be a totally capable man. It's the Parto Principle. If you become really attractive in all areas of life, 80% of women will find you attractive. You're not going to appeal and fit in every single woman's category, but at least 80% of women find you attractive. And then your chances of getting a date and finding a partner is going to skyrocket because you've put so much work into yourself. And it's like that saying. I mean, there's a famous saying I can't remember who made it up, but it's a saying in some of these dating communities that women only hang around the finish line. And it's true. Very true. They don't really care about your struggles, about you having a hard time, you're struggling in life, or that you don't have money, you don't have a car, you can't really progress with your life, because they don't care. They only want to be with guys who are already leveling up and who are getting somewhere. Okay, and back then at the day, I was a complete loser. I was a loser, I was a beta male, I was a simp. I had no social skills. I was a little bit dorky in a way. And I think she could sense that. She could sense the neediness, which I'm talking about my first crush. She could sense the neediness, the desperation, the lack of experience, and the fact that I was not even Norwegian at the time, because I'm half Polish, half Norwegian. And so that wasn't even an option back then for her. So, but you guys who are leveling up, keep leveling up. And all the girls that have rejected you in the past, use them as motivation, because you will level up. And later on, once you're 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, that exact same girl, or the girls that rejected you, will look like shit, most likely. I've seen this on my own experience. All the girls that used to be hot when I was 15, 16, 17 are now like kind of average. They're kind of slumpy, grumpy. They have lots of tats. They're not really as hot as they used to be. They don't have that wow type of look to them anymore. But us men, and conversely, I should say, I know a lot of men who used to be on the uglier side. They were kind of like left out. They weren't really fitting in, but they've improved themselves so much, and now they're getting way more chicks and way more success in their dating life. So that's what you should do. Work on yourself and ignore all the noise. And remember, girls do not make rules for guys they like. Remember. Thank you so much for watching.